The Kennel is rocking for this huge West Coast matchup right before New Year's, the final non-conference tune-up. San Diego State and number 13 Gonzaga. These two teams have been to the national championship game within the last 3 years. In fact, since the start of 2019, Gonzaga and San Diego State among the top three winningest programs in all of college basketball. At the Kennel tonight with Sean Farnham, Roxy Bernstein with you. Glad you're with us for this one. And Sean, a matchup like tonight is great for college basketball.
It is. You mentioned it, a tune-up. This is a battle. This is a battle between two of the best teams in college basketball over the last decade, not just the last couple of years. And significant for both these teams who are looking for a signature win in their non-conference. And to have it be a true road game makes it even that much better. Well,
Graham Ike is off to a great start. The transfer from Wyoming, who was a medical redshirt last year for the Zags. Monster numbers for Mark Few to start the year.
Yeah, they had high expectations for him, and he's coming off of a 22 and 11 rebound performance against Jackson State. Now, this isn't Jackson State he's going against tonight, but as they turn the page from the non-conference into conference play, he needs to elevate his play, and tonight he'll need to do it because Jaden Ledee is special. Came into the season averaging just about 4.9 points per game over the course of his career. This year, he's one of only two players with 21 points, 9+ rebounds, and shooting 57% from the field. You know who the other guy is? Zach Edey. I mean, that is elite company, and Jaden Ledee has been a problem for everybody that has played the Aztecs.
9th in the country in scoring. He's had 20 or more in 6 of the first 11 games for San Diego State. And the opening tap controlled by the Aztecs in the black. The Grays tonight at home for Gonzaga. The Zags come in 9-3, San Diego State 10-2. And conference play right around the corner for both, and a foul 15 seconds into the game on Graham Ike that'll send Jaden Ledee to the line.
And part of what we're talking about in this matchup is who can avoid the foul trouble. Ledee got saddled up with 2 fouls early last time out for San Diego State and missed a majority of the first half of that game. And Ike, you can't afford to pick up a touch foul on an 18-foot jump shot by Jaden Ledee that you've actually defended pretty well.
One more for Ledee, 76% from the line this year. What's crazy about Jaden Ledee, Sean, he had a grand total of 4 starts in his career prior to this season.
Well, and you and I covered the Aztecs in their trip to Las Vegas earlier this year, and we talked a lot about Jaden Ledee and the numbers that he was putting up. You remember he had 34 and 17 against Washington. And it really has been a mindset and a development that started at the end of last season and has carried through this year. And his personal development, even in his 3-point shot, he had 0 3-pointers made up until this year. He's got 8 already this season.
Anton Watson with 10 to shoot for Gonzaga. A tough fadeaway on the baseline, well defended by Elijah Saunders, and here come the Aztecs.
Both these teams understand who they are, right? Like, Gonzaga wants to get out in transition. They want to play out in front of San Diego State's defense. San Diego State wants to be physical. They want to be tough.
Here is Saunders in the corner. Rims out of 3, and the rebound falls to Ryan Nembhard for Gonzaga. Step back. Inside. Graham Ike off the window to tie the game.
A great duck in transition and buried Ledee under the basket. Now, San Diego State had shot blockers last year. They don't really have a rim protector as much this year.
What else have you noticed that's different about their defense this year?
For the Aztecs?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a defense that has gotten better as the season has gone on. And Dutch talked to us about that earlier today, is their communication, their help side, rotations, and staying out of rotations that put them in bad situations. That has improved dramatically since that Grand Canyon game. They have not allowed an opponent to score more than 67 points since that loss at Grand Canyon.
In a true road game so far this year, they've played 3, San Diego State. And they have challenged themselves in some extremely difficult environments. And coming to another one tonight here at the Kennel. Spinning down low, well short for Micah Parrish. San Diego State has already played at Grand Canyon, which is challenging a West Coast trip as there is. And 1 for Ryan Nembhard.
And Nemhard, they had open space and nobody down low on the block that time. And watch us lean into the screen. And Lamont Butler was leaning into that screen, and that's what created that gap and that seam to attack. And as soon as he got his shoulders by him, all there was going to be was contact, and a good job finishing out over the top for Nemhard.
The transfer from Creighton.
Now, he doesn't miss the free throw line now. Last 6 games, he is 14 of 14.
88% on the year, and he gives the Zags their first lead. But San Diego State going over to Seattle. And stepping into a 3. And Reese Waters from long range.
What a pickup he has been from USC. Pac-12 Sixth Man of the Year. Has been an essential part of the Aztecs' success early this college basketball season. See, they got in rotations there. They don't want that. You cannot have Lamont Butler defending Anton Watson on that screen and roll situation, because they're just going to throw it up to the square and he can finish up over the top.
Tied at 7, almost 3 minutes in. San Diego State going to Grand Canyon. They played at BYU, who's proven to be one of the top teams in the country this year. And now coming here to the kennel to take on Gonzaga. Jaden Ledee in the lane, the miss. Anton Watson clears for the Zags.
Now they're going to mix up coverages on Ledee the entire game. Look at great post, pin and seal by Ike.
Turns middle, and the Zags take the lead.
Ike is getting his work done early tonight, and that's really important against Jaden Ledee, that you've got to sprint the floor and get your feet set.
The steal, Anton Watson, who's second in Gonzaga history in steals, and a foul will send Ryan Nemhard to the line as the steal leads a transition for the Bulldogs.
Now, Anton Watson, one of the best defensive players in the country. The versatility that he has to guard 1 through 4. And you mentioned it, you're second all-time in steals to only John Stockton in this program. Tremendous.
That's pretty elite company. Is Mark Few, 35th season overall at Gonzaga. 10 years as an assistant. And the winning percentage off the charts for Mark Few, and right around 84% of his games as a head coach he has won.
And in this building, it's even more difficult. But listen, I posted this yesterday. First game ever called at ESPN was November 16th, 2010, tip-off marathon here in this building. It was San Diego State versus Gonzaga. Kawhi Leonard, Billy White. Of course, they were going against a Rob Sacre team that had Kelly Olynyk. Elias Harris was on that team as well, Stephen Gray. And the Aztecs won that game. And that was a statement for Coach Fisher at the time, and really an announcement that the Aztecs were going to be players on the national scene. And they went throughout that year with the games against Jimmer, made it to the Sweet 16, and this program really hasn't looked back since. They have been nationally relevant every single year.
Third longest run of consecutive NCAA appearances, with Michigan State and Kansas only ahead of Gonzaga. The Zags up 2 early at the kennel. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. Visit progressive.com. Zags up 11-9 early on San Diego State as we flash back.
Yeah, last year's NCAA tournament Elite Eight, that was called a foul on Ryan Nemhard when he was with Creighton. Sent Trammell to the free throw line and sent the Aztecs to the Final Four. And fast forward to tonight, obviously an opponent you're very familiar with, a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, and he has come out and he's played very aggressive early. 3 for 3 from the free throw line. We saw the great drive. He's got 5 of the 11 for the Zags to go along with 2 assists.
Brian Dutcher going to his bench, bringing in Darion Trammell. Also Jay Powell checking in for San Diego State. And for Gonzaga, Ben Gregg makes his first appearance. Here is Darion Trammell. Drives and finishes inside, and Trammell was playing less than 100% early in the year, and he's gotten healthier, and he's starting to really find his rhythm again like he was at the end of last season.
Well, and that becomes a difference maker for the Aztecs. I mean, him at 100% versus the shoulder injury. Great block shot from the help side rotation there. But the injury that he sustained and he was dealing with was a huge problem as far as getting into a rhythm, feeling confident out on the floor. And Trammell has gotten himself back to a spot now where he's starting to contribute like he did a year ago. And that just adds more depth, better guard play, and in particular, his ability to defend. He's a really tough on-ball defensive player.
Double figures for Darion Trammell in 3 of the last 4 games after none of the first 7. Coming back from that shoulder injury is the role for Ben Gregg. Put the Zags back on top, and Darion Trammell was the MVP of that South Regional that got San Diego State to the Final Four.
Well, I love Ben Gregg and what he brings to the floor. Every time he steps on the floor, you know he's there. He provides energy, a toughness, a spark. Great defense.
The ball from Jaden Ledee, still 10 to shoot. Darion Trammell, the deep 2.
How confident was that? That is a tough shot to make. Shot clock winding down. Created space off the bounce.
Anton Watson to Dusty Stromer in the corner. And a 3 for the freshman.
Much needed for Dusty Stromer to knock down that shot. They need production from his position. Thrusted in there because of injury. The talented freshman out of Southern California got his feet set, squared up that one.
Must be something that puts him at ease with a Farnham on the floor with him.
No, that does not put him at ease at all, trust me. But a tremendous talent and a really bright upside for Gonzaga. And the experience that he's gaining right now, I think is going to help him as his career progresses here.
Nolan Hickman left open for 3.
Well, if you're looking at Gonzaga over the course of the season, they have struggled a little bit from beyond the arc and lacking consistency there, but last 2 possessions, really good.
Micah Parrish going inside for his first points. But the Zags have hit a couple of 3s already in this game at just 32% from outside the arc this year, which is un-Gonzaga-like. Jay Powell, the drop-off. And a foul as Jaden Ledee couldn't get the shot to go, but he'll get rewarded with a couple of free throws. And the foul is on Ben Gregg of the Bulldogs.
Gonzaga dominates in the paint. We know that, and they've done a good job of attacking the paint all night long. What that does is it collapses your defense, and it will allow to have wide open shots from the outside. And a couple of good possessions, great ball movement, trusting in your teammate, and being shot ready on the catch. And both Stromer and Hickman knocked it down.
Jaden Ledee 2 for 2 from the line already, and he gets the roll. And one more for Ledee. So the senior from Houston, who is a 2-time transfer, played his freshman year at Ohio State, coming on to TCU, and now his last go-around with San Diego State.
You mentioned 10th in the country in scoring. He ranks in the top 25 in 5 other statistical categories. If you're looking at college basketball in November and December and players that have far exceeded expectations and have made a name for themselves in a presence, Jaden Ledee could be on the top of that list as far as what you expected at the start of the season to what he's delivered for his team.
Look, Brian Dutcher in San Diego State thought he'd be good this year, but there's no way they thought he'd be doing this. And that's an over and back call against Gonzaga, and a turnover. They thought he'd be a really good player for them, Sean, but if you were to ask them, they'd be lying to you if they said they expected Jaden Ledee to be doing this.
Basically 22 and 9 every single night.
Yeah.
Knocking down threes. Like, I mean, just it has been impressive. And we mentioned it, the 34 and 17 that he had against Washington in Las Vegas on a neutral floor. And he is comfortable and he is confident, and that is a dangerous player when you have an understanding of who you are and what you need to do to be successful.
Darion Trammell.
How comfortable and confident is he right now at the start of this game?
7 off the bench already. And San Diego State on a 7-0 run to take the lead.
Now Trammell has done it off the bounce and create a little space. This time he runs off the screen. And you're trailing, and as you trail and you feel where your defensive player is, and if you know you can get your shot off, go ahead and take it. And Trammell 3 for 3 from the field right now with 7 points.
It's been about a month, Sean, since you and I saw San Diego State in Las Vegas as Anton Watson called for a foul as Miles Bird forces the turnover. But just looking at Darion Trammell.
Completely different than what he was in Vegas. And they told us in Vegas he was probably 70% at best. And what did Dutch tell us today?
He's healthy.
He's back.
He's back.
Well, and what's back too is their defense. And you saw Miles Bird, by the way, great play there, jumping the pass lane twice on that possession.
Here he is again. And the roll, you think Darion Trammell is feeling it? Wow, what a shot and what a bounce. 2 threes for Trammell. He's 4 for 4 from the floor.
Well, and when you make a shot, you sprint back in defensive transition. You don't allow the Zags to get out and run, a key component to any opponent against Gonzaga.
10 straight for the Aztecs. Ben Gray missing a 3. And the rebound, Lamont Butler for San Diego State. Jay Powell moving in. And his shot denied by Ben Gray. And Gregg, and he's fouled by Lamont Butler. And it's the second on Butler with 11:05 left in the first half.
But it's been a 10-0 run for the Aztecs, and Trammell's been sensational. Confident, feeling it, doesn't need a lot of space. Coach says he's back. He looks like it. He's got 10 early. Darion Trammell has come off the bench and scored all 10 of the Aztecs' points off the bench. And we talk about depth with Mark Few. He said, listen, our depth right now is a concern of mine as we get ready for conference play. Not a concern right now for Brian Dutcher when you can get Trammell back to 100%, shooting the ball with the confidence level that we're seeing early in this game, the variety in which we're seeing him score the basketball. 4 for 4, 10 points in 7 minutes. In fact, he's outscored Gonzaga in the last 3:25, 10-6.
Ben Gregg will shoot 2 after the second foul on Lamont Butler. And the junior from Clackamas.
This is the thing about this year's team for Gonzaga. You got a lot of personnel. They get along great. They communicate well at practice. You hear them, you know, the way that they really support each other. But from a spark perspective, I think Ben Gregg's got to be that spark. He's got to be the guy. Timmy had a brashness about him, without a question, for 4 straight years. It would get people going. The energy level would pick up.
The confidence when he was out there.
And I think Ben Gregg has a little bit of that kind of spark ability in his own way for the Bulldogs.
Drop off from Darion Trammell to Miles Bird, who will get to the line. Now they're going to say inbound on the foul was on the floor, so it'll be on the baseline for San Diego State.
And Brian Dutcher, what a job he's done. You mentioned Mark Few, and look at the record, 161 and 49. You know, such an essential part of Coach Fisher and the process at Michigan and then at San Diego State. And you know, the story's been told over and over again that Coach Fisher used to have to walk around and pass out tickets and beg people basically to come to games. Don't have to do that anymore. The show is one of the best student sections in the country. That environment is crazy at San Diego State, and Brian Dutcher has just built off the foundation that was laid down and continues it year in and year out.
So Ben Gregg just picked up his second foul, spinning in the lane. Jaden Ledee the miss, and it trickles into the Gonzaga bench. Last touch by the Aztecs. You think of those great student sections on the West Coast, certainly here at the Kennel, which school's out, so it's not the same type of atmosphere. It is still jumping, though, here at the Kennel. But
completely
the show,
sold out.
The Havocs at Grand Canyon have entered the conversation. Do we still consider, even though BYU's
the McHale Center
in the Big 12,
the Rock?
West Coast, the Rock? Yeah. Step back, Nolan Hickman.
That was a beautiful step back to create space. Hickman's second three of the night.
When Oregon had it going, the pit crew there. Micah Parrish way off of the three. And here is Ryan Nembhard. The lob, Anton Watson.
What a great find, vision and awareness. Anton Watson sprints the floor, gets behind the back line of the defense. Nembhard sees it right away and delivers it on a dime.
7-0 run for the Zags. Already 4 assists with the 5 points for Nembhard. Darion Trammell, it rattles out in the rebound. Nolan Hickman. Zags in transition. And Ryan Nembhard gets knocked down in a foul on San Diego State.
Nembhard in attack mode off the bounce that time. Previous possession, vision, awareness, back line, falls asleep. Anton Watson points up. Nembhard delivers it, and he's able to finish. Well, you think about Gonzaga, when they're at their best offensively, under Mark Few, the ball is moving at all times. I mean, it is moving. It's not off the bounce, it is off the pass. And players are moving without the ball, creating open spaces and seams, whether it's Joel Ayayi or any of the other great players that have moved well without the ball and found success.
In and out for Ryan Nembhard. Long outlet from Elijah Saunders to Darion Trammell, who glides in.
That was a phenomenal pass by Saunders. But my point being is this: Gonzaga is shooting 56% from the field tonight. They have 6 assists on 9 made field goals. That's the ratio that we've come accustomed to, and it has not been that way for a large part of the season.
There is a certain fluidity that you're used to when watching the Zags. Just like this as Anton Watson gets hammered going down the lane.
The previous possession, though, the outlet pass out ahead. And Trammell one-on-one in the open floor like that, nothing really Hickman could do.
Watson 63% from the line. One more for Anton Watson. He's got 5 points already tonight as Dusty Stromer comes back for the Zags. Watson leads Gonzaga in scoring, rebounding, steals, blocks this year. And wave it off, Graham Ike, a lane violation. So wave off the second attempt for Watson.
You and I thought this was going to be a great game, and what we've gotten so far is exactly what we would have expected coming in. I mean, these are 2 high-level teams that will be in the NCAA tournament and probably wearing home-colored uniforms.
Inside to Jaden Ledee. Drops it off underneath in the lay-in. Elijah Saunders and a beautiful feed from Jaden Ledee.
Well, the footwork by Ledee, staying on balance, not getting rattled by the pressure.
Graham Ike down low.
What I loved about that possession was the patience of Ike. Ledee was laying on him even when Watson had the ball, but on the ball reversal, he ducked in and sealed him. Created that opportunity for him to score.
Saunders rims out a 3 and the rebound, Ryan Nembhard. Inside 7.5 to go. First half, 2-point game at the kennel. And an errant pass, and Watson throws it away over to San Diego State. We expected a good one, and we've got a good one, Sean.
Yeah, a 2-point game. And watch the footwork here. You double in the post. Now you're trying to get out of it. Anton Watson loses his guy. Saunders able to finish. And at the other end of the floor, this is on the ball reversal. So he was getting leaned on when the ball was on the weak side, away from him as it came back. Ike, great job burying him and finishing.
As always, great energy inside the kennel. They're bringing it tonight for this huge non-conference matchup prior to New Year's, and right around the corner, conference play for both Gonzaga and San Diego State.
Hey, talk about transfers. And Seth Greenberg, who's in studio tonight, we talked about this when I was in studio with him. Most impactful transfers. Maybe not the best transfers, but the most impactful. Hunter Dickinson, obviously, Kansas gives them a big. And when Bill Self has a big like Hunter Dickinson, they have a lot of success. Johnson at Arizona, San Diego State fans turn away. but he fills a void for him at the 4 position that the Wildcats need to compete for a national championship. He's been in double-digit scoring every game except for the one against FAU. Cam Spencer and his shooting ability from Rutgers to transfer in has been huge for UConn, shooting 45% from beyond the arc. And then how about Dalton Connect from Tennessee? A team that can get stagnant at times offensively and struggle to score. Their defense elite. They have visions of winning the national championship, competing at that level this year. Dropped 37 against North Carolina. He has been huge for Rick Barnes.
We could go on and on and on with so many transfers around college basketball. In this day and age, as it spins out for Jaden Ledee.
Good job walling up defensively.
I mean, we could have included Graham Ike on that list too.
He's playing his way onto that list. And I think early you talk about dusting off the rust of missing all of last season and then being asked to come in and fill the void left by Drew Timme. That's a huge gap. And you just got to be yourself. And he's done a great job tonight being a physical presence in the paint.
And the rebound trickles out of bounds. And will stay at this end, says Big Chair Mike Reed.
This is great. Great officiating crew here tonight.
Yeah, Mike Reed, Michael Irving, Doug Schaus, their crew.
Mike Reed was an alternate last year at the Final Four.
Ike on the block. And the rebound tipped out to Micah Parrish for San Diego State. Zags by 2. They've led by as many as 6. San Diego State has led by as many as 4 in the early going. And the pull-up jumper rims out for Reese Waters.
Good defense by Dusty Stromer, contesting that shot.
Off balance, tough shot, Ryan Nembhard.
And he just backed in, and that was physicality on physicality. And Nembhard just willing it in because Trammell didn't back up at all.
Nembhard with a strong all-around game already. 7 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Fade away. Micah Parrish the miss, and the rebound grab by Graham Ike. And then a foul committed by the Aztecs, the second on Micah Parrish.
Let me just tell you this. Graham Ike, he's got 3 or 4 shooting, 6 points, and 3 rebounds. But maybe what's been more impressive has been his positioning and his defensive effort of forcing Jaden Ledee into shots that are contested and not as comfortable and not as deep as we've seen him get throughout the course of this season.
Here's Stromer in the lane. And it spins out for Dusty Stromer. So Darion Trammell, 12 points, lead everybody. He's 5 for 6 from the floor. The rest of the Aztecs are 5 for 16. 5 for 17. That was all the way down and popped out for Jaden Ledee.
Jaden Ledee can knock down that shot, but a contested shot from there with Ike right in front of him, you're going to take that if you're Mark Few.
Darion Trammell, the block shot. Picked up by Graham Ike. The Zags have matched their largest lead. Darion Trammell missing from deep. And the rebound batted around. And it's out of bounds. San Diego State ball. Aztecs have gone over 4 minutes without a field goal. I don't think Mark Few agreed with the call.
No. But what we're seeing right now is what a lot of opponents have felt in this building before. The Zags can go on a run and all of a sudden create separation. The key is not to be rattled if you're San Diego State.
And a foul will send Stromer to the line at the other end. It's on Jay Powell of San Diego State.
And Ledee frustrated with his inability to finish.
Zags in the bonus, 7th team foul, so a 1-and-1 for the freshman Dusty Stromer. He's ranked 34th. And the recruits coming into college basketball by ESPN's national recruiting director, Paul Biancardi. And also a high school teammate of the Oregon Ducks, Jack Farnham. First ACC basketball doubleheader on ESPN. RJ Davis, Armando Bacot, Harrison Ingram, number 9 North Carolina, taking on Pitt at 7 Eastern. Then Kyle Filipowski, number 16 Duke, and Syracuse at Cameron Indoor. Should be a great night of hoops. Doubleheader, the ACC, to kick off the news.
I love that we're getting conference play. Conference play, everything gets a little bit more intense, and this is a game that feels intense.
Largest lead for Gonzaga. 8-0 run ended by Miles Heide, the freshman from the state of Washington.
Yeah, Heide with the finish, but that run was ended because Reese Waters has incredible vision and found him and set him up easy.
Nolan Hickman turns the corner. And he missed at the rim, and the rebound, Miles Heide.
And Hickman's down with an ankle.
Hickman is clutching that right ankle back at the other end. Numbers for San Diego State as Miles Bird lets fly. He's way off. And Mike Reed stops play to check on Hickman.
Yeah, but that's poor recognition by San Diego State because you have an opportunity to have a number situation. But Graham Ike, he's been sensational. You look at battles, and the battle we previewed tonight was against Jaden Ledee. And it seems like he's taken that as a personal battle. His effort defensively and offensively has been outstanding for the Zags.
Kevin and Coach coming up at the half. We'll check in on a couple of Blue Bloods in action today. Both Kentucky and North Carolina, no problems. Plus a very different look for Illinois tonight. Coach, what do you like about the Zags?
Yeah, Von Mark, I feel good about my team. My ball movement's good. My people movement's good. I've established Graham Ike in the low post. We're making some threes. We're a 32% three-point shooting team. We're 3 for 8. Life is good. Continue to rebound the ball. Try to play ahead of the defense.
As we head back to Spokane, Roxy and Sean.
Well, Gonzaga up 6, 3:13 to go in the first half.
Life is
Kevin
good in
and Seth
Connecticut.
coming up with a half.
Life is good here, too.
Come on, we're at the DAV. We're getting the Farnham Flatbreads tonight.
Of course it is.
Life's good. Also, speaking of for people, this was during the timeout and the entertainment and a half-court shot buried.
Do you know what he won? $1,200. That's pretty good.
That is a good gift.
That's a good way to end the year.
Post-Christmas gift, yeah.
That's a good way to end 2023.
Well, that's what the Zags do, half-court shots to end every shoot-around. They go both ways, and they keep track as a timeout taken by Anton Watson in danger of a 5-second call, but they keep track of how many half-court shots they make. 30-second timeout. Saturday on ESPN2, a college basketball triple header that starts at noon Eastern. Women's matchup in the Carolinas, number 1 South Carolina and East Carolina in Greenville. Good way to start your afternoon of college hoops. Top team in women's college basketball in action on ESPN2. 35-29 Gonzaga. Braden Huff launches a 3. And the loose ball tracked down by Reese Waters, and here come the Aztecs. 2-on-3, doesn't matter for Darion Trammell. Miles Bird to the basket.
Smart to turn down the three-point shot there. You're struggling to score. You're 1 of 9 for your last 9 from the field. Be aggressive and get in the paint.
Inside, falls off for Braden Huff. And San Diego State claims a defensive board. Quickness of Darion Trammell denied by Braden Huff. And the loose ball tracked down. Good to see Nolan Hickman stay out there after turning his ankle. And now Hickman, the pull-up, rattles out. And taking the rebound away, Braden Huff for the Zags.
Now, what is the one thing that Brian Dutcher told us at shoot-around today? And I asked him, I said, going into conference play, what's your biggest concern? He goes, we have to rebound the ball better. They are not rebounding the ball well. They're -8 right now. And in second chance points, it is a 4-0 advantage for Gonzaga.
And the Zags, one of the best rebounding teams in the country. They're a +12 almost per game. Desperation heave, and Darion Trammell. Timeout San Diego State. Just got it off to beat the shot clock. Third three for Trammell.
Where would the Aztecs be without Trammell tonight? Coming off the bench, and even in tough situations. Look, that is an absolute heave. But 3 of 5 from deep. He's got 15 of the 34 for the Aztecs.
The officials are at the monitor. I'm guessing, Sean, to see if he beat the shot clock, which he clearly did.
I think right now, and Coach is right about everything that Gonzaga is doing right. But I think if you're Brian Dutcher, you're looking right now and saying, okay, Trammell, guys, has kept us in this game on the road. And the dude that's averaging 22 points per game, he's just 1 of 6. He's not going to do that in the second half. And we're going to find a way to get him better looks. And we're going to get him going as this game goes on. And that's going to open up a lot for everybody else. But if Jaden Ledee gets going here and you can go to the half and you're trailing only by 3 or less, I think you're the Aztecs. You're feeling pretty good.
Last 23 points for San Diego State. Darion Trammell is 15 of them. Ryan Nembhard. And the rebound here is Trammell off the deflection. Finds Reese Waters, gets the flyby, steps in. Smart play from Waters.
And they're going to take the high percentage shot. And I know analytics will tell you just shoot the 3 in transition that time. Get your feet set, shot fake, defense goes by. You can step into that 16, 15-foot shot that you're going to knock down to the 60% clip. That's a great shot.
Braden Huff open. And the rebound, Elijah Saunders for San Diego State.
And you're going to take some time here and run this down as much as you possibly can.
Jaden Ledee. The give and go with Elijah Saunders, who rolls it in. San Diego State seesaws in front. Final 12 seconds of the half. Ryan Nembhard to the basket. Falls off, and the loose ball. Diving forward is Saunders, and he gets a timeout with 2.5 seconds to go in the half. And Brian Dutcher applauds the effort, but didn't necessarily want to lose that timeout.
It is a fight on the glass. Every time a shot goes up, the Zags are doing an outstanding job putting pressure on the backboard, and that time the ball just gets deflected out. With 2.5 seconds left, you'd rather just let the clock expire, say, we're fine, let's go to the half with the lead. 2.5 seconds from this position of where the ball's being inbounded, you don't have much of an opportunity. You get 2 bounces, 2 dribbles, and then there's a shot.
6 lead changes in this first half. Nobody's led it by more than 6. I take it back, Gonzaga did have an 8-point lead. But it has been tightly contested. Teams battling here. Final non-conference tune-up before the Aztecs head to the Mountain West and the Zags begin WCC play.
All you want to do if you're Gonzaga is force them to catch the ball in front of you, hopefully not turning with momentum into your half of the court.
And it's deflected out by Dusty Stromer.
All right, 0.5 seconds came off. You still have 2 bounce and shot. Can you get something going towards the basket?
Reese Waters off balance from the corner. San Diego State closes out the first half on an 11-2 run. They're up 1.
And Jaden Ledee is just 1 of 6 shooting from the floor. I think if you're San Diego State, you're really pleased defensively how you close that half. And then obviously the contributions of Trammell, they go without saying.
15 for Darion Trammell. San Diego State up 38-7 at the half in Spokane. We take you to the studio. Kevin Connors and Seth Greenberg.
Roxy, Sean, thanks very much. And a great one in the kennel as we expected. Welcome into the half. #1 Purdue closing out the calendar year with a run with Eastern Kentucky. The lone loss, that overtime thriller with Northwestern. Coach, they dominated tonight.
20 assists, 33 field goals. Interesting, Zach Edey didn't get his triple-double. When I talk about triple-doubles, I talk about points, rebounds, and free throws attempted. But I think they'll be ready for Maryland in their Big Ten opener.
13-7 for the big fella tonight. And again, you want to close out the calendar year on a high note. The Boilermakers did just that with a convincing victory over Eastern Kentucky tonight. There's Edey, 80-53. The Boilers close out the calendar year 12-1. Coach Seth Greenberg, Kevin Connors here in studio. Darion Trammell's season high this year was 11. He's gone for double figures only 3 times. Coach, how did he dominate that first half?
The guy was a starter last year, obviously got injured, so now he's just getting his feet underneath him. The guy's a big-time scorer. You got to take the ball out of his hands. You got to make it hard for him to catch the ball, maybe send a second defender. 15 points in the first half. Absolutely dominated the first half for San Diego State. Guy's got unlimited range. Can beat you off the bounce. Does a nice job of creating a little separation. You see the little step back right there. But he's kind of like the microwave. You got to free him up. You got to give him a green light. Running a little pin down right there. Turns in, gets behind the ball on the catch. But he's really good at creating space off the dribble. Terrific step back. Darion Trammell, he has saved the first half for the San Diego State team. I agree with Sean. They got to get Ledee involved a little bit more. But when you double Ledee, he's done a great job of making that post-to-post pass. 2 assists, 2 big assists off big-to-big doubles.
Gonzaga down 1. Look, the sky's not falling. This is still a top 15 team. But, Coach, how does this team compare with others in years past?
Look, the ball movement's the same. The people movement's the same. In the end, you got to make shots. They're a 32% three-point shooting team, the worst in the history of Gonzaga. Guys that were role players a year ago, right now they're playing through them. You think about Watson, they're playing through him. He's a focal point. Hickson's got a new role. This is what they got to do. They got to move the ball, move the people. Nebhard's got to pass up threes to get the ball inside, establish Graham Ike, play ahead of the defense like they did right here, and they'll be fine. But this is not the same Gonzaga team. The ball movement, the people movement, the style of basketball, how they play is the same. The people they're doing it with, they're not doing it with lottery picks. They're not doing it with first-round draft choices. Very good team, but limited offensively in terms of their ability to make shots. They got to get that big fella more touches. You know why? Because if he gets touches, Ledee's got to defend him. Maybe you can get Ledee in foul trouble.
Maybe you can establish Graham Ike more in the second half, who leads the way with 8 points at the break. Meantime, the other big story tonight in college basketball, the first game for Illinois without their star guard, Terrence Shannon. No longer a part of the program for the moment anyway. He's facing formal rape charges. He's been suspended from all team activities. How does a coach keep his team's focus at a time like this, Coach?
You know, next guy up is Quincy Guerrier. Over the last 3 games, Guerrier is averaging 21 points a game, 10 for 18 from the three-point line. He's a guy, a proven, experienced player who can score it. Marcus Damask, another guy that can score it, make shots. But here's the deal. It's a collective responsibility. It's not one person that's going to make up for Terrence Shannon. They're going to have to do it as a team.
They've opened this one up now, a 20-point lead. When we come back.
Why are you doing that to Harvard on the hack set?
Exactly, yes. FDU man on the set here. When we come back, we'll check in on a couple of the other Blue Bloods. North Carolina and Kentucky, no problem here to close out the calendar year.
We play our best ball in the NCAA tournament.
Coach talked about sharing the ball for Gonzaga. How's this? Ryan Nembhard to Anton Watson.
Getting behind the defense, head up, see the play early. Nembhard drops the dime. Talking about dropping dimes. Kentucky drops some dimes.
Right. 4 different leading scorers over the last 4 games, Coach. They are just so efficient, though.
Think about how fast they play. Top 20 in pace of play, yet only 6 turnovers, 23 assists. The ball has great energy. It doesn't get stuck. Now, moving forward, they get into SEC play. They got to clean up their ability to defend the ball and defend ball screens. But offensively, they share the ball. They play for each other. And they got some dudes that can make plays.
Like Antonio Reeves, who was dynamite again. He went for 27 on 10 of 15 shooting, 96-70. They beat Illinois State. 5 of the last 6 games for North Carolina against ranked teams, so a little breather tonight. And R.J. Davis has been electric.
R.J. Davis is playing as well as any guard in college basketball. Today he has 20, 10 assists, makes the right play, shooting the 3. say it all the time. They still got to get Armando Bacot established a little bit more, but I like the idea of Washington getting more minutes today, getting involved in the offense. I think Harrison Ingram's been a huge part of what they're doing. I like the pace they're playing with. I like that they share the basketball. If they can get Armando Bacot playing at a high level, this is a dangerous North Carolina team.
Speaking of dangerous, number 18, Clemson, taking on Radford tonight. What a trio of scorers they have.
P.J. Hall, Player of the Year candidate in the ACC, just been absolutely terrific. But Joe Girard, we talk about best freshmen, most productive freshman in college basketball. Joe Girard has been an absolutely perfect fit for this Clemson team. Clemson is a very good second weekend team. They share the ball, they have great spacing, and they got a bunch of dudes that can step up and make plays. Brad Brownell is doing a tremendous job at Clemson.
Girard transfers in from Syracuse after 3 years there in Central New York. He goes for 24 tonight. No problem for the Tigers and no problem for Colorado State right now.
I didn't know Mark Adams had his own school.
Isaiah Stevens with 9 and 7 for the Rams. Mark Adams. Enthusiasms.
Harris dropping dimes. Kansas, they might not blow you out, but they find a way to win.
They open Big 12 play next Saturday against TCU. Get this guy a scholarship. Seriously, they need the shooting.
Deep range, deep.
The Aztecs
deep.
up by
and
one.
And you only get $1,200. Give that guy $5,000.
At the Kennel, San Diego State up 1 on number 13 Gonzaga. 38-37 as the Aztecs close the first half on an 11-2 run with Sean Farnham and our ESPN crew. Roxy Bernstein with you, and that was a fun 20 minutes of basketball.
I think both coaches probably went at halftime. It's like, hey, guys, listen. We're doing a lot of things right that we said we wanted to. If you're Gonzaga, even though you're trailing, you're saying, look, we guarded Ledee really well. We rebounded the ball. We were able to score in the paint. More of that in the second half will be fine. And for Brian Dutcher, you're like, hey, guys, we got the lead. And we've had more than 50% of our points come off the bench. Jaden Ledee hasn't gotten going yet.
The Darion Trammell has for San Diego State an electric first half. Off the bench for SDSU.
And he came off the bench immediately and was ready to go. And whether it was out in runouts, whether it's coming off the screens, he had his feet set. He shot the ball confidently, 6 of 9 from the field, 15 points. A big part of that 19-6 advantage in points off the bench for San Diego State is the fact that Trammell was able to be as confident, and really he's the reason why they have the lead. When he scored, they took the lead because their defense was solid, and I think they did a pretty good job of getting back and taking Gonzaga out of transition, forcing them to play in the half court.
Already a season high in points for Trammell. Again, got off to the slow start this season because of the shoulder, but it's picking up his play recently. As Gonzaga with the ball to start the second half. They're trailing entering the second half at home for the first time since February of 2020 when USF, the Dons, led Gonzaga at halftime in that game. Although the Zags won that game 71-54 as Lamont Butler bursts by the Zags for his first points of the night.
Well, if you don't pick up the ball, you're going to give up a layup. I mean, nobody stopped the ball in transition.
And a travel. Gonzaga turns it over.
Well, and you mentioned that stat. Last time they were trailing at home was against USF. They came back and won that game. Brian Dutcher told his team at halftime, look, Gonzaga's going to make a second half run. What we've got to do is come out aggressive in the first 5 minutes and be ready for it and be able to respond to it. You mentioned Lamont Butler, first points of the game for him. It's his first shot attempt. And coming off an 18-point game.
Here he is into key, and he banks it in straight on. Quickly back the other way, and the Zags give it back to San Diego State. Micah Parrish, way off on the three.
Pretty good three-point shooter. And it definitely has not felt the rhythm tonight so far. He is 0 for 3 from beyond the arc, and that one wasn't close.
Yeah, that's when you wipe your hands on your shorts and there's something wrong with your hands. It just slipped.
You were one of those guys?
I'm speaking from experience.
I think you just have to acknowledge that it's a bad shot. Don't draw more attention to it. I promise it wasn't because the shorts, the shoes, or anything else.
Anton Watson left open for 3.
You leave him open, his versatility, he can stretch it from the outside.
So after the Zags finish the first half, just one of their last 8 from the field, And Elijah Saunders can't convert. Here comes the Zags, 3-on-2. Watson to the basket. Tie game, 18 minutes to go at the Kennel.
Quick 4-0 run, followed up by a quick 5-0 run. They got to get Jaden Ledee a touch.
Lamont Butler straight on. Ledee gets the touch himself as he rips the rebound down.
That's his first offensive rebound of the game. Came in averaging over 3 offensive rebounds per contest. His first offensive rebound there, manufacturing the ability to get a touch and score.
Ryan Nembhard. And the tip in, Graham Ike. Back and forth we go. Jaden Ledee fires from deep and hits a 3.
That's been the biggest growth in his game. Already more field goals made here to start the second half than he had the entire first half.
He's 40% from 3 this season. Nolan Hickman and a tie-up. And the arrow belongs to San Diego State.
Jaden Ledee doesn't get the touchdown low. They lift him up. Graham Ike a little bit slow with the contest. And as you mentioned, Ledee came into the game 8 of 20 on the season from beyond the arc. Now 9 of 21 from deep. After again having zero made 3-pointers in his first 4 years of college.
And 4 total starts his first 4 years of college basketball. And he's averaging close to 22 points per game. Darion Trammell quickly enters in the second half for Brian Dutcher and the Aztecs. And a foul out top, the second on Anton Watson.
Listen, the students may not be here, but there is a buzz. I mean, every possession feels important. Every stop, every call feels important in this game. And these two teams they're very proud programs that have had, as you mentioned off the top, incredible success in college basketball, especially recently. But they need it for their non-conference resume.
Darion Trammell has a clean look. And the offensive rebound, Jay Powell. Reese Waters fires. 3!
I love the offensive rebound kick out to a spot-up shooter 3.
Largest lead of the night for San Diego State. Reese Waters, the deflection, attacks, and glides in. Timeout Gonzaga. The Aztecs are up 8 at the Kennel.
It is points off of turnovers right now. Gonzaga has been a little bit careless with the basketball. They've given up 17 points off of turnovers in this game, and it's the defense of the Aztecs jumping in the passing lane. This was on the offensive rebound. Waters gets his feet set, dials it in, and knocks it down, the transfer from USC. And you cannot throw a straight line pass from the baseline to the top of the key and not expect somebody to jump that line.
Lead of the night on number 13 Gonzaga. Just inside 16 minutes to go as we take a look around the West Coast, and some really good basketball played in the West every year. But
Mountain West is loaded with Utah State. How about Nevada? What Coach Alford's been able to do? You just saw them at Diamond Head. Impressive win in that tournament. Juju Watkins has been sensational. Second in Division I in scoring. USC in the top 10. They take on number 2 in a sold-out Poly Pavilion on Saturday against Corey Close's team led by Lauren Betts, the transfer from Stanford. And then Tyon Grant Foster, he's a star nobody's been talking about. And if you're looking at a team in the NCAA tournament that could make some noise, Grand Canyon is one of those teams. A great start to the season for Bryce Drew's squad. And you mentioned their student section, great home environment. They knocked off San Diego State earlier this year at home, but they can travel too.
So San Diego State up 8. And the Zags, who've been quiet here the last minute and a half to watch the Aztecs build their largest lead of the night. And a strong take to the basket will get Ryan Nembhard to the line. Couple of free throws coming up for Gonzaga, San Diego State, and the Zags. Final non-conference tune-up for both. Upcoming featured football lineup Saturday afternoon, Georgia and Florida State in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Saturday night, the NFC North champs, the Lions, and the Cowboys in a big NFC matchup. And New Year's Day, the college football playoff semis begin at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific with the Rose Bowl on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. Great way to close out 2023 and ring in 2024. All right, who you like on New Year's Day?
I'm more focused on that Lions-Cowboys game, to be honest with you. I mean, I need the Lions to lose so that my 49ers, after botching Monday Night Football this past week.
That was brutal.
Here's what I like. I like Alabama, and I like Washington.
I'm with you 100%. I agree on both of those. That makes for bad television right there.
It's awful. Could you disagree with something? How about this? San Diego State, last 36 possessions, just 1 turnover. Gonzaga has 4 turnovers in their last 8 possessions. They have to value the ball better. Plus 11 for the Aztecs in points off of turnovers tonight.
And the Aztecs have outscored Gonzaga 21-8 back to the first half. Jaden Ledee spinning in the key. And Miles Bird goes over the back.
First of all,
and now Mike Reed comes in from the side.
We got technical
and
foul on Dusty Stromer.
Called on Dusty Stromer. And he's wondering, what did I do?
Now this is after extracurricular. Stromer goes over the back of Stromer. And little tangle, little talk back and forth, and then Dusty comes over and just pushes him away.
Yeah. Just can't do that. And by the way, that technical is also a personal. It's the first foul on Dusty Stromer, but even as
Mark Few not happy, not pleased. In a game where every possession seems so heightened, you cannot have that breakdown.
I mean, even as innocuous as that shove seemed to be, still you can't do that. And so Mike Reed with Doug Schaus and Michael Irving at the monitor to, again, a technical was called on Dusty Stromer after the personal foul on Miles Bird.
The officials looking at it. Dusty was like, what? I just was trying to get him away from my teammate. They were talking trash.
Dusty, you did it right in front of Mike Reed. And the officials are discussing it. And you saw some jawing going on between Anton Watson and Miles Bird after the foul on Bird. And then it was Stromer after that that pushed Bird.
Now we'll get an explanation.
Now Mike Reed calling in both coaches to tell them exactly what they decided. Mark Few on the left, Brian Dutcher on the right. All right, what did Michael Irving have to tell you?
That the call they made on the floor is exactly what they're going with. It's a dead ball, technical foul against Dusty Stromer. The Aztecs will get the free throw and then get the ball back. So costly because it would have been their ball, their possession, with the offensive foul on Bird. But because it's a dead ball technical, it gives possession back to the Aztecs.
And it'll be Reese Waters going to the line. All right, do I mention it? What's going on with Reese Waters? All right, the broadcaster jinx, we'll see what happens.
It didn't work when I tried to jinx Nemhard earlier today. You just don't miss.
Reese Waters is 40 for 40 from the line this year. One more for Waters, who has 13 points tonight.
What a contributor he has been, and how important he has been, the role in which he plays for San Diego State.
So not even I can throw off Reese Waters, who's now 42 for 42 from the line. And it's the most consecutive free throws made to start a season in college basketball since Matt Frierson of the Citadel hit his first 44 free throws of the 2018-2019 season Frierson finished that year 44 for 44. Miles Bird, and the Aztecs are up double digits.
Largest lead of the game for San Diego State. And a costly technical foul that gave 4 points to the Aztecs when it should have been Gonzaga's basketball.
Ryan Nembhard. The lob for Graham Ike down low.
Got the switch, and Nembhard knew it right away. Great awareness by number 0 in gray. That is his 7th assist of the game, Roxy.
8 points, 7 assists, 4 boards for Nembhard.
Roxy, the offense hasn't been as electrifying this year for Gonzaga, but you know what has? Their defense. And they're going to need to lean in their defense right now and get consecutive stops.
Jaden Ledee is fouled. We'll get to the line. And the foul is on Nembhard of Gonzaga. So 2 shots for Ledee, who's 4 for 4 from the line. And you and I talked to Mark Few earlier today about their defense. You've watched Gonzaga more than anybody.
I've been up here a little bit.
Yes. What's different about this team's defense than maybe in years past?
Well, I think that at times they were so offensively gifted that they just leaned on that, right? Like that was, things came so easy at the offensive end. Their transition, their points off. This year's team doesn't have that same kind of explosiveness, so the identity has had to shift a little bit more to the defensive side. And the coaching staff has done a great job of having awareness of that. And when you hammer it home every day at practice, it starts to show up on the court. And this has been a better defensive team, a more physical defensive team than we've seen.
And
the turnovers are a major issue right now.
San Diego State.
They're minus 13 in points off of turnovers. That's their 11th turnover of the game. San Diego State has come in this building. They only have 3 turnovers the entire night.
Efficient night for Brian Dutcher's team. Reese Waters to the basket. San Diego State by 13.
And more points off of turnovers. 21 points off of turnovers. Tough to win a game, even on your home floor, when you give up 21 points off of turnovers.
Graham Ike over the double team. And the rebound tipped out. Miles Bird on the run. The step through. The reverse. Miles Bird. Timeout Gonzaga.
Yeah, well, Brian Dutcher told his team Gonzaga makes second half runs. It's an 18-3 run over the last 4 minutes in this game by San Diego State. The Aztecs hear all the talk about the Mountain West Conference, how deep it is. Watch this, just the offensive execution, the fluidity in which we've seen, and then the attention to detail at the defensive end of the floor, and the ability to attack Gonzaga in transition. They have 30 points in the paint, Roxy. They only had 16 in the first half.
Since there was 4:03 left in the first half, San Diego State has outscored Gonzaga 35-10. And to come here into this building, where since it opened, back in the early part of the 2000s, Gonzaga has a .945 winning percentage. They are 272-16 in this building. In a building that's been open for about 20 years. 16 losses. And we can probably count on one hand how many times they've been down double digits.
Well, and I go back to what I mentioned earlier in the first half. My first ever game at ESPN was the tip-off marathon here in this building where San Diego State was trying to announce itself to the nation and was able to do it. Kawhi Leonard, big part of that team. Billy White, I think, had 31. DJ Gay was on that roster as well. A tremendous team for Steve Fisher. This Aztecs team made it all the way to the national championship game. Lost some key components. Roles have shifted. Things have changed. You know what hasn't changed? The culture and the identity of this program. And for a non-conference where you take a loss at BYU, who, by the way, looks pretty good. You lose to Grand Canyon. Those are your 2 losses. Those 2 teams, by the way, combined for only 2 losses this entire season. they need a signature win, and they know how important this game is for them, and they have played like it here in the second half. Now, there's still plenty of time for Gonzaga, but it starts with not turning the ball over. It starts with getting stops, getting back in transition, not allowing San Diego State to get easy runouts.
Physical drive will get Anton Watson to the line. And San Diego State's battle tested. Quality wins against Washington on a neutral floor. Cal in overtime on a neutral floor. Beat St. Mary's on a neutral floor. Beaten Stanford, UC Irvine, Long Beach State. Were good teams out of the Big West. And you alluded to their only losses.
Well, and you look at Gonzaga and you'd say, okay, well, hey, look, you beat UCLA, you beat USC, but both those programs struggling so far. UCLA got to 500 last night. You were there for the call of USC and Oregon, where the Trojans took a loss to the Oregon Ducks. Jackson Shellstead and KJ Evans, just absolutely phenomenal, the two freshmen.
KJ Evans was awesome last night.
But those were games that when you schedule them, you know, and obviously UCLA was in Maui, but you schedule USC on a neutral floor in Las Vegas, a game you called with Jay Will, you're thinking to yourself that hey, this could be a significant opportunity to get a massive victory. And the Trojans have failed to meet that bar so far. And
the Mountain West had a great run through the non-conference. So it's going to be a great league this year in San Diego State.
Well, and we mentioned Nevada and we mentioned Utah State. How about New Mexico?
Ben Gregg, a three.
Come on the court and make a difference. And the building needs a spark. Now you need to get a couple stops in a row.
And now the crowd trying to get into it at the Kennel again, after they were silenced by San Diego State. Five to shoot. Darion Trammell. The hesitation, the floater. The follow by Jay Powell.
That was outstanding defense up to the last second, and then you give up the offensive rebound putback.
And Gregg the flyby, launches. Graham Ike. And it's tipped out of there by San Diego State to Reese Waters.
Zags switching everything 1 through 4. That's a tough shot.
Reese Waters the miss. Anton Watson has the rebound, and he's on the end line. It stays at this end with the Aztecs up 13 at the Kennel.
Well, second chance points. They had 0 in the first half, Roxy. After this one, they've got 7 second chance points in the second half, and that was a backbreaker. We talked about impact transfers. Reese Waters, one of those impact transfers, understanding what the hole and the void was and how can you fill it. 6th man of the year last year in the Pac-12. He has been outstanding. He came out of high school as the number 77 recruit overall and had to kind of find his way and has found his rhythm. And in the course of this game, what has impressed me most is the quality of the shot selection. The last three-pointer he took was not a great shot. But everything else he's done tonight, he has done with purpose. He is 6 of 9 from the field. It's not just the 16 points, 9 of which have come here in the second half. But it's the purpose in which he's playing with.
And a block on the perimeter, and that's on Nolan Hickman, his first.
Trammell just driving like he's going to go to the other end, which is not where he wanted to go, but he picks up the foul. Wrong way.
Lamont Butler across the key. There's Graham Ike ripping down the rebound for the Zags. Ryan Nembhard. And he's fouled and will get to the line. And
I love that, and I'll tell you why. Gonzaga has not had a lot of opportunities to get out and run in transition. Only 9 fast break points in this game. And one of the things the Zags do really well is pushing it, whether it's off of makes or misses or turnovers. They are looking to get in attack mode, and Ryan Nembhard kind of forced the issue a little bit there, Roxy. But forcing the issue was the right decision because it gets him to the free throw line.
Second foul on Elijah Saunders. First ACC basketball doubleheader of the new year on Tuesday on ESPN. Number 9, North Carolina, Armando Bacot, Harrison Ingram, and the Tar Heels taking on Pitt at 7 Eastern. Then Kyle Filipowski and number 16 Duke hosting Syracuse at Cameron Indoor. Great night of hoops on Tuesday. First ACC doubleheader. Lamont Butler trapped. Anton Watson knocks it away. Another steal for Watson. And he's denied by Micah Parrish. Into the line will go Ben Gregg for Gonzaga as Watson went tumbling into the camera guys on the baseline. And ladies.
And the fans wanted a technical because I believe Parrish just kind of pushed him away. Watch this on the drive. Extracurriculars here. Anton Watson actually pulled Parrish down, which created the conversation. And then as he got up, there was a little bit more. If you watch the bottom of your screen, watch. He pulls Parrish down with him. And Parrish was yelling at the official. And as they got up, he kind of swiped away a little bit, similar to the technical that was given to Dusty Stromer earlier in this half.
One more for Ben Gregg, who has 8 points tonight. Come off the bench now, all 13 games for Mark Few this year.
Easy opportunities to score based on the defense. I like extending out the defense and pressuring here, trying to trap the guards of San Diego State.
Knocked away. Nolan Hickman got his hands on it. And a foul called. And it's on Lamont Butler. And Butler has 4 with 10:48 to play.
What was I talking about earlier in this half about Gonzaga? If they're going to get back in this game, what did they have to lean into? Their defense. And the decision by Mark Few to extend out the defense and trap, this San Diego State team has felt very uncomfortable. And twice now, Butler has dribbled into the trap and then picked it up. And outstanding job by Watson. And that's the versatility. When you can have Anton Watson be at the top of your zone trap and your zone press, his length can be so disruptive. And what it does is now everybody in the building's back on their feet.
Some confusion at the scores table. The official scorer talking to Doug Schaus over there. .10:48 to play. Gonzaga from down 15 has cut it to 10. By the way, that was the 6th team foul on the Aztecs. So the next San Diego State foul will put the Zags into the bonus for the rest of the night.
Key here too, by the way, is if you can create turnovers, you're allowed to, you're able to score out in front of the defense, right? And that's been key because the Aztecs on their half-court set have been pretty solid. EK has been the guy that did a great job in the first half burying and getting position deep, and they did not do more. That's an offensive foul.
Second on Ryan Nembhard.
Can't do it.
Go as another turnover.
Can't do it. You cannot extend your arm away from your body and push off. This is an easy call. Watch the push. Boom. There it is. That's a foul.
Nice pass by Darion Trammell. And a corner 3. Too strong from Elijah Saunders. And Graham Ike pulls the rebound away. Here come the Zags. Chance to get it to single digits. That will send Graham Ike to the line for a 1-and-1. The second on Jaden Ledee.
What an outstanding job of stealing that offensive rebound away from Jaden Ledee, because Ledee had both hands on it. And the Zags were just swiping and got it away and regained a possession.
Ike is 75% foul shooter.
On that previous
front end.
On the previous possession, I was talking about Ike, and what he did so well in the first half was do his work early, seal, and get that deep position. Now, he did not do that on the previous possession where Nembhard picked up the offensive foul. But by working early, he was able to draw contact away from the ball and get to the free throw line.
Knocked away by Watson. In danger of a 10-second call. There it is, a turnover. Gonzaga forces another San Diego State turnover, and the pressure causing problems for the Aztecs.
You and I had the Washington game earlier this year that ended up being 97-100. It was pressure late in that game that bothered San Diego State and allowed Washington to creep its way back in and eventually force overtime, even though they had an opportunity to win the game at the free throw line. Right now, it's the pressure that has completely taken out the flow of this game for the Aztecs. It is all Gonzaga right now.
Graham Ike to the bucket. 11-2 run for the Zags. Jaden Ledee is mugged by Graham Ike.
There's a chance that this could be an intentional foul, grabbing from behind here.
Yeah, I think
there was no play,
flagrant one.
There was no play on the ball whatsoever. A great pin and seal by Ledee, and he grabbed him from behind.
And that's not a basketball play. That's
and they're going to look at it.
An excessive play by Ike. So if it is deemed a flagrant one, that means it'll be 2 shots for Jaden Ledee, and San Diego State will get possession.
He just wrapped him up like a bear hug from behind. Now listen, we'll figure out. They're going to talk about this. They're going to figure it out. I think they're probably going to call it an intentional foul. Okay,
flagrant one.
But here, more importantly, Gonzaga has flipped the script in this game based on their attention to detail at the defensive end. And that has allowed them to get to the free throw line, where they're 7 of 10 from the free throw line here in the second half. It has allowed them to play out in front of the defense of San Diego State. Regardless of what this call is, you've got 10 minutes on your home floor. We've seen this happen time and time again. You and I have been in plenty of games in this building. If you're Mark Few, what you're saying is, guys, what they're going to call, they're going to call. Don't let it impact you. We have to continue to defend the way we're defending, extending out our pressure, making San Diego State uncomfortable. All the rhythm that we saw in that 18-3 run for San Diego State that started this half, it's gone. They're having to work extremely hard to get any quality look at the defensive end of the floor, even when they're able to break the press. You've had multiple turnovers. You've had a 10-second violation. Those are the things I'd be focusing on right now if I'm Mark Few, and then talking about how you want to attack him at the offensive end.
Now, both teams are in their huddles. The officials are determining what is going to happen here. And now Mike Reed again summons Brian Dutcher and Mark Few, and Michael Irving reporting to Sean Farnham.
Exactly as we thought. It'd be upgraded to a flagrant, and so it's going to be 2 shots and the foul. And that's the second time you've seen that here in the second half. And you can ill afford to have that. If you're going to foul, but you don't grab and wrap from behind.
So flagrant one again means Jaden Ledee will shoot 2 free throws, and San Diego State will get possession. And Ledee at the line tonight is 6 for 6. 13 points, 5 rebounds for Jaden Ledee. That was the first miss for San Diego State from the line tonight. And he missed both. But San Diego State still has the ball.
Fine, but you didn't give up any points here. Now your defense is set, and that's why I talked about that timeout. If you're Mark Few, don't worry about what this call is going to be. The attention to detail that we've had defensively, we need to be able to sustain that and continue to be disruptive.
Jaden Ledee spinning.
What a
move by Ledee.
And to me right now, if you're San Diego State, I want 13 or 14 taking the shot as much as they possibly can. Ledee and Waters. I know Trammell had the great first half. I want those two guys. They've been great here in the second half. And a good job by Ledee to respond after the 2 missed free throws to finish.
Off balance, tough runner from Nolan Hickman. And the rebound, Miles Bird for San Diego State. Bird spots up. And bodies went crashing in a foul, and it's on San Diego State. Jaden Ledee called for his third. And a 1-and-1 at the other end for Anton Watson.
We've talked about the battle on the glass and just how physical it has been all night long. And they're going to review this
to see if it warrants a flagrant 1, maybe a hook and hold.
It's clearly a push by Ledee. That's an easy call. I don't think I didn't see any hook or hold in that.
No.
At least from the initial angle that we had. This angle's not going to show it either. Because we got bodies on the floor already. See, there they are.
Again, the foul on the floor was called against Ledee. And then watch right underneath the basket, Ledee and Watson.
And it's just two guys battling, and it's a push. It's clearly a foul. I think it's just a common foul. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm with you. We're agreeing way too much tonight. You know,
well, you've worked enough with me this year
true.
that I've kind of brainwashed you into believing that what I'm saying is correct.
So confirmed by the officials, a common foul. So a 1-and-1 for Watson, who's 2 for 3 from the stripe tonight.
And Ledee will check out of the game. So now offensively, where do you go if you're San Diego State? Now it shifts a little bit, and you go Trammell and Waters. Now, it doesn't mean other guys can't shoot it, but those would be the 2 guys that you kind of want to make sure that you can kind of create something for.
One more for Anton Watson.
Now, the other thing, too, at the free throw line, what this does, and you see the adjustment. They just moved Graham Ike, and he's going to go all the way back. Why is he going back, and why is Nembhard going in with Hickman? Because they're going to press. Watson will be at the top of the press as long as it's a made free throw. And then you're going to have your guards. Look, they're going to jump into it anyways. Now, this has been where they've been most disruptive.
Now Miles Bird looks to attack. Off balance. The offensive rebound, Miles Heide kicks it out.
What a big offensive rebound by Heide.
Darion Trammell. And cutting to the basket, Heide can't control it. He's trying to sell Mike Reed that it was off Gonzaga. But Mike Reed not buying it. We're going the other way.
5 turnovers in the last 4 minutes for the Aztecs. And what was a sizable advantage, it was 21-6 in points off of turnovers. Now it's 21-15.
And keep in mind, the guy that steadies the ship for Brian Dutcher is Lamont Butler, who's sitting with 4 fouls. And still 8:15 to go.
You got to bring help here. You got to double that earlier.
Graham Ike turns middle, gets the roll.
You got to help the freshman out. You can't put him on an island on the baseline with Ike. He's going to finish every time.
18 for Ike. Reese Waters, a fall away. Tough shot from Waters.
I go right back to Ike in the same position, and if they're not going to bring the double, and then tell him to go to work. They're trying to get Ike in that position.
And a foul off the ball on Miles Heide.
He was just holding and grabbing. Graham Ike, we previewed him at the start of the game, and coming off of a 22-point, 11-rebound performance against Jackson State, he needed to show up and play big tonight. Boy, has he. Defensively against Ledee, he's been outstanding, but he's got 18 points, 7 rebounds. And as I mentioned, it's got to be 12 or 14 offensively for the Aztecs. It was 14, and Reese Waters continues to have a big second half. It's a 7-point game with 7 left.
Kevin, coach in studio. Arizona and Umar Ballo off to a great start at Cal.
Do a great job playing high-low basketball. Ballo's ability to shoot that little runner in the lane has changed his offensive potential.
They've made 8 of their first 10. Meantime, Arizona State and Frankie Collins opening Pac-12 play at Stanford.
Hey, Arizona best when they're in transition in half court. They get a little stuck. Frankie Collins has got to make some plays.
Pac-12 action, Roxy and Sean, after we finish up inside the kennel.
Well, Mountain West against the WCC here in Spokane. So a Pac-12 opener for ASU and Stanford coming up next. San Diego State leading it by 7. And here's how the Zags, Sean, you've been talking about this, how they got back into this game.
It was going to be their defense and the ability to extend out, trapping without fouling, 10-second violations, turnovers. The effort and the attention to detail in particular at the defensive end has been elite. Here was the first turnover in the trap. Even when they broke half court, they were able to pin him on the sideline and not really give any kind of opportunity whatsoever to get in their rhythm and flow offensively. And you mentioned Trammell, who had the great first half. He had 15 points at the break. He has failed to score a single point here in the second half.
Reese Waters leads San Diego State with 18. He's had a strong second half.
And this will be free throw number 13 and 14 here in the second half for Gonzaga. Only 6 free throws attempted for San Diego State. And that's because Gonzaga has been the more aggressive team, and that starts at the defensive end.
Rattles off for Graham Ike. Jay Powell the rebound for San Diego State. 6-point lead for the Aztecs. Lamont Butler on the bench with 4 fouls. Jaden Ledee sitting with 3.
Double away here for Waters. Good defense on the switch. You see how Ben Gregg took that away?
Jay Powell launching a 3. There is Ryan Nembhard the rebound.
Roxy, great team defense, scout defense by Ben Gregg. You had Waters coming off of a double screen. You switch out on it. You take that away. You get somebody shooting the shot that you really would prefer them to take.
Off 1 foot. Graham Ike the offensive rebound. Ike, 2 free throws coming. Seems like the more physical it gets inside, the better it is for Graham Ike.
This is the Graham Ike that Gonzaga fans dreamt about when he transferred.
2 shots for Ike as the Zags are in the double bonus for the rest of the night.
Roxy, let me go back to that last possession, though. I want to show people at home. Watch this. You got a double screen away. Ben Gregg reads it, and watch how he jumps out. He takes away that and then allows the 3-point shot by Jay Powell. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to take the ball away from Reese Waters and put it in someone else's hands. And he saw that Nembhard was trailing there and just made a great read.
20 for Ike. It's down to 5. And a turnover. 3! Ryan Nembhard!
They're going to review it, but nevertheless, it's this defense once again. San Diego State has got to break this press more confidently. Drive into a gap and attack. You cannot be passive against the defense in which the Gonzaga Bulldogs are applying.
15-6 run for the Zags, the closest they've been since early here in the second half. Reese Waters silences a crowd with a 3.
That time Ben Gregg went under, and that's what created the gap. And Waters, every single time the Zags get close, Waters hits the shot.
21 for Waters. On the baseline, Ryan Nembhard for Gonzaga.
Surprised on that make that they didn't extend out the defense again and get back into the press.
Miles Bird sets up in the corner, a 3.
You had 2 on Jaden Ledee underneath. That left Bird wide open in the corner. Great find by Reese Waters.
Just his 5th 3-pointer this season. Bird has a career-high 9. Nolan Hickman. And the rebound, Reese Waters for the Aztecs. Lob ahead for Jaden Ledee, and he lays it in. Got behind the defense.
A rare time in transition. They were able to throw it over the top of this Gonzaga defense.
All the way to the basket. It spins, and it goes for Nembhard.
Nembhard really asserting himself in the last couple of possessions. He's up to 16.
Darion Trammell to the basket, and the finger roll is first points of the second half.
How much fun is this?
Anton Watson along the baseline, the reverse.
Well, neither team can figure out how to get a stop right now.
And Reese Waters comes up hobbling.
Movement without the basketball by Anton Watson, and awareness and understanding of where he was. A great find for the Zags. See, right now I'd extend out my pressure. You had a dead ball situation. Everybody stop. The pressure has been working so well here in the second half. Why not stay with it? Lamont Butler's probably coming in when we get to out of this next timeout.
Jaden Ledee muscles his way to the basket. The foul on Grant Ike. 3:38 to go. San Diego State up 6, looking for the upset at the Kennel.
It's been back and forth. The Gonzaga Bulldogs have made 4 of the last 5, and it starts with being able to flatten out the defense, get behind them. Great job by Anton Watson. We got ourselves a game. 6 points. 3 minutes left.
Keep the ball out of the lane. Arizona State going to try to get paint touches and attack a soft Stanford defense.
The Sun Devils and Cardinal on the farm coming up next. Roxy?
All right, Kev, during the timeout, they reviewed the Ryan Nembhard 3, and upon review, it has been ruled a 2-point field goal. That's why the score has changed. 78-71 San Diego State. 3:38 remaining at the Kennel with Sean Farnham and our ESPN crew. Roxy Bernstein with you. San Diego State, a strong performance.
Roxy, there's games, though. I mean, when our bosses send us a list of games, and anybody that works our network knows it, somebody sends us an email, goes, we'd like to confirm your availability for these games.
Yes.
When you and I saw this game pop up, we both smiled and said, hey, it's going to be fantastic. This might be one of the marquee games we get all season long, and it has not disappointed. The execution of both squads. Hey, look, San Diego State's 4 for 4 in the last 4 shot attempts. We mentioned before we went to the break, 4 or 5 for Gonzaga. I think the Zags need to go back to extending out their pressure on their makes and being disruptive and trying to turn over this San Diego State offense that has struggled in the second half of valuing the basketball. They have 7 turnovers in the second half, and they have 13 points off of those turnovers in the second 20 minutes.
Jaden Ledee pushes the lead to 9. And for the weak side, Ben Gregg trying to keep it alive for Gonzaga.
Anton Watson wide open.
Follows up his own miss. And an interesting lineup for Mark Few with Anton Watson at the 3.
I like this lineup because, again, look, Ben Gregg's a hustler. He defends well, he's physical, and down the stretch of this game, you're going to need to be physical and you need to play smart.
Darion Trammell missing the long 3, but there's Reese Waters on the offensive glass. Poked away by Anton Watson out of bounds to San Diego State as Mark Few hustling over to pick up Anton Watson.
I said this last year. How did Anton Watson not win Defensive Player of the Year in the WCC? He's one of the best defensive players in all of college basketball. His versatility, his ability to guard 1 through 4, how disruptive he can be, how often he creates steals and opportunities for his teammate. Now they extend out. Look at this. This is their full court pressure in the half court right now.
1-3-1 look for Gonzaga.
And you're already under 10 seconds on the shot clock, and San Diego State really hasn't figured out much in this possession. What a spin.
And Jaden Ledee will get to the line. That's a pretty good way to expose the zone and knife through it.
Well, Ledee has not shot the ball very well from the field. He has been outstanding from the free throw line. He's got 19 points, 8 of 10 from the free throw line. The only 2 he missed were the 2 that were the flagrant foul when there was nobody standing around him.
Third foul on Ben Gregg. Way to go, Gasbag.
You're not the first person to call me that.
We couldn't jinx Reese Waters, but we did it to Jaden Ledee. Gets the second. Another 20-point game for Jaden Ledee, 7th time this year. Ben Gregg. And Miles Bird rips it down. He has had a terrific game off the bench.
He has done little things that help you win. A rebound like that, getting interior position on the weak side to secure that possession for your team is huge when you've got the lead and you're looking to get under 2 minutes.
Ledee. Off the front rim, last touch by Jay Powell. And it goes to Gonzaga with 1:58 to play.
Brian Dutcher upset with Ledee, feeling as if he settled for the jump shot instead of attacking like he had done on the previous couple of possessions.
Reese Waters dives. And San Diego State comes away with it. Here comes Darion Trammell, 3-on-2 if they want it. And San Diego State, Sean, they've kept Lamont Butler on the bench ever since he picked up that 4th foul. Strip from Darion Trammell. Here comes Ryan Nembhard.
Got a mismatch underneath. Ike was being guarded by Reese Waters. They didn't get him the ball.
Nolan Hickman can't get the floater. 8-point lead approaching a minute to go for San Diego State.
That is a huge, huge stop. And they had a mismatch underneath that if they were just a little bit more patient to find, they would have found Ike. If you're San Diego State, you want to be aggressive and attack the basket. This is the guy you'd like to see do it.
Miles Bird on the move. And Nolan Hickman the rebound. The Zags down 8, need to hurry. Nembhard launches. And way off on the 3, and the loose ball, there's Jaden Ledee. Reese Waters will pull it away from the lane, and he's fouled by Watson with 24.4. And what a road win this will be if San Diego State can finish this one off.
Just so rare to come in this building as a road team and find a win. You mentioned it. It's only 16 losses in this building. San Diego State is going to put 17 up, and they're going to own 2 of those losses to Gonzaga. A great job by the Aztecs, Brian Dutcher's team. The toughness that it takes and is required to try to find a way to win here. What a job by the Aztecs. They'll improve to 11-2 on the season with a signature.
And the first miss for Reese Waters. Made 43 in a row to start. Off balance 3, well short from Ben Gregg. Graham Ike can't clean it up. Jay Powell tips it free, the exclamation point. And a technical on Jay Powell.
It'll be a technical for hanging on the rim. I don't think anyone on the bench for San Diego State's going to mind at this point in time.
6.7 to go. 11-point lead. And the biggest deficits in losses for Gonzaga in this building. 11 points. Santa Clara did it in 2007. Illinois in 2012.
Well, because of the technical, it's down to 10.
Yep.
I think really impressed with Brian Dutcher's team. And Trammell carried them in the first half. And in the second half, Ledee getting to the free throw line, and Reese Waters. 22 points for Reese Waters. A majority of those coming in the second half. Phenomenal attention to detail by San Diego State. They weathered the storm. They valued the ball late. They get the win.
84-74. San Diego State knocks off the Zags at the kennel. For Sean Farnham and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein, so long from Spokane. Now to the farm, ASU and Stanford.